On November 22nd, 2022, we had another event, a shooting at a Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia, killing 6, injuring 4. For Americans, this was the day before Thanksgiving or Turkey Day, another event that happened on the same day by no coincidence. There was an earthquake in Turkey at precisely 1:08 UTC time, 1:08 being the code for the New World. It was a code in both FTX and the Crimea Bridge blast. Sam Bankman-Fried, as SBF is 1:08 in Gematria, and the Crimea Bridge was built on 1:08 and blown up on 1:08. Earthquake is synonymous with birth pains, contractions, and the Virginia Walmart shooting happened in Chesapeake. Chesapeake means great water or great shellfish bay. Birth pains paired with water. Maybe at some point there'll be some sort of dam breaking. That would be the water breaking. Virginia, again, birth of a virgin. So this is synonymous with the return of Christ, which is the return of Christ consciousness, the birth of the new world.
Law enforcement, they responded instantly.
Yeah, it was a very quick response. Behind me, you can still see a very active crime scene.
This gentleman's name is Andy Fox. Andy basically just means man, and Fox is 666 in Gematria. So that's referencing the lower mind, the man, as opposed to God-man.
Card there. We don't know the exact significance of that, but it is surrounded with crime tape. There was also a news conference this morning where we heard from the Chesapeake police chief, who gave us details on what happened out here last night. Newly appointed police chief Mark Selesky confirmed the times of the mass shooting.
Our 911 dispatch center received the first call at 10:12 p.m. last night.
The call came in at 10:12, which is 11:02, which is 22. So there's a lot of 22s in this.
The first officers arrived on scene within 2 minutes at 10:14 and entered the store approximately 2 minutes later at 10:16.
Okay, so he said that they entered the store at 10:14, so 2 minutes after the call, and another 2 minutes later, so there's another 22.
The first responding officers entered the store, and the scene was declared safe by 11:20 p.m.
It was secured at 11:20, which is another 22. So now we got 3 22s already.
Public safety source who told our 10 on Your Side investigative team the first responders found a list near the shooter of the employees he presumably wanted to target. This also indicates no shoppers were targeted. One victim was killed in the parking lot. One was inside the store towards the front. 4 others and the shooter in the break room. The 6 victims shot either in the head or the face. There were no signs of struggle or resistance against the shooter. Here is where they died. 3 and the shooter at the Walmart, 2 at Centera Norfolk General, and 1 at Chesapeake Regional Medical Center. The source says this is the largest crime-related response in memory and probably in Chesapeake City history since 1963.
He said that they were all shot in the head or the face, and then he says it's the worst crime event since 1963 in Chesapeake history. 1963 was not that the year that Kennedy was shot, and we just had an event where we had the burned bridge and it referenced the Happy Birthday Mr. President. That happened just before Kennedy was shot. November 22nd, 1963 is 322, the Cairo. 1963 also encodes 64. 64 is 8 times 8, the Infinity Loop, the Lions Gate. JFK got shot in the head. Getting shot in the head is your pineal gland opening. John F. Kennedy, Jack in the Box. He was a Jack in the Box. He was shot in the car.
Boy, on the job only 5 days. She tells the story on how the shooter came up to her and put a gun in her face and then told her to go home.
Reporters aren't supposed to do that. They're not supposed to dramatize this situation. However, here we are. This is more like a Maury Povich episode.
Now, this is significant because this was a really clear indication how targeted this attack was. Those that were the target were shot in the head or they were told to go home.
Okay, it's very odd how he's emphasizing this while he's got the pyramid hand symbol, which represents the diamond pattern, the IXXI, and his tie has the X and the checkerboard pattern, which represents the same thing. And he's talking about how these people were targeted, emphasizing targeted, shot in the head, and go home. Target is the bullseye, it's the X marks the spot, it's the center of the torus. Target was a sponsor, I say sponsor of COVID, because they were featured everywhere. And so that's why I say they were a sponsor, not officially a sponsor, but maybe they were. So Target represents the torus, the bullseye. In the head means the pineal gland. Go home. Home is where the heart is. Go green mind.
As law enforcement officers investigate the mass shooting at a Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia, family and friends are remembering the victims.
She didn't deserve that.
Thomas Jones says 22-year-old Tynika Johnson, who worked at the store, was...
This lady's name is Tynika Johnson. Johnson's a reference to the phallus. She's got stars on her shirt. She's got Nike on another shirt. Nike means victory, Venus, and she was 22.
Close friend. Her family says
They put her name on a heart around the tree. This is all pinned to a tree. A tree is a vortex in the torus. Go home. Home is where the heart is. The heart is hung on the tree, the Johnson, the phallus, or vortex of the torus. On the top are stars, and on the bottom is flowers. The stars are representing heaven, flowers representing earth. The heart joins heaven and earth, joining heart with mind.
celebrated her 22nd birthday.
She was one of the most...
She just celebrated her 22nd birthday. So that's a reference to birthday. And so this event happened adjacent to a birthday. The burning bridge happened adjacent to a birthday. This is all reference to birth of the new world.
She was one of the most loving people you could ever meet in your life.
And so they put her name on a heart, and he says she was the most loving person. In the Club Q shooting, one of the victims was described as having a big heart, and one of the victims was named Loving.
31-year-old Andre Bing.
Andre means warrior, and Bing means hollow shaped like a pot. I don't know what that's supposed to refer to. And so if you notice in here, you got your 88 for your infinity loop.
The suspect is dead from what we believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Witnesses say he opened fire Tuesday night in an employee area.
Just left out the break room, manager come in there,
Is it just me, or is this guy smiling? Again, vertical frame.
Tuesday night in an employee area.
Just left out the break room, manager come in there, started capping people up in there.
Yeah, that's his reaction. Just left the break room, manager came in, started capping people up in there. He's walking very slowly, casually. He's not scared, he's not panicked. He's got a smile on his face, like nothing happened.
Manager come in there, started capping people up in there.
In a statement, Walmart described the suspect as an overnight team leader who has worked here since 2010. The CEO called the shooting devastating, offering the company's support to not only their workers, but to the Chesapeake community. 24-year-old Jalen Jones was among those.
Jalen Jones is JJ, is 33. 33 for your CC. Pay attention, there's something to see here. Christ consciousness.
His mother says he was just beginning his shift.
He knew he was being shot. He made it to the front of the store, and then when he made it to the front of the store, he was shot again.
This is the second mass shooting in the state in recent weeks.
Okay, so here we have Breonna Tyler. Again, means that she's a female ready for marriage, which is a virgin, and this took place in Virginia. And as I said before, that doesn't have anything to do with sex. That just means that you're ready for the alchemical marriage.
She worked alongside the shooter one day before the tragedy and was inside of that break room when the suspect opened fire. Her name is Breonna Tyler. She's only been a Walmart employee, she tells us, for a couple of months, and she joins us now live from her home. Breonna, thank you for taking the time for being with us.
Just listen to how she retells this story as an eyewitness to people getting killed in front of her.
Tell us about those moments. You said you're processing it. What are you processing?
Well, I was literally just getting to work. Our shift is from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. I got there a few minutes late. About 10:06 is when I clocked in on my phone. I walked to the break room like normal. That's where we have our nightly meeting of where everyone's going to be, stocking their particular section. And, I'm just standing there. There were a few things that seemed like off to me about that whole night that they stick out more to me now that situation has happened. Just different things, like the maintenance man, who actually the first person to end up getting hit, he actually went around the entire room and gave everyone trash bags, which he doesn't normally does, so that stuck out to me. And as soon as the team lead said he was about to get the meeting started, he said, "All right, guys, we have a really light night tonight." And as soon as he said that, the supervisor or the manager just came around the corner and literally just opened fire and just started swaying his arm back and forth. He didn't have a target. He didn't, he wasn't aiming for anybody specifically. He literally was just shooting across the entire break room.
She works with them. They're colleagues. They're not perfect strangers. And her story also counters what we just heard, that he was targeting people. He was targeting managers specifically. I mean, come on. He's just spraying this pistol. He's spraying it all over the place, and he's such a good shot that he hits his targets because he's targeting managers. So it doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. Her retelling of this event is so calm. It's as if she's just telling us how to make craft dinner. They told us a list of what was going to happen, and then we went into work and we were going to go and have a nice happy day. I've had people get more upset about something they've seen on television that is a soap opera than her telling a story about some person coming in, shooting people she knows right in front of her. And then he commends her later in the interview. He commends her for how calm she is. Come on.
And Brianna, you say you've been working at that store for just a couple of months. What more can you tell us about the suspect? Did you have a sense that this was a guy who wasn't right?
I mean, he always gave off like he was like the loner type. Like he was quiet and to himself, I will say that. He just, he gave off the vibe that was just like, you don't talk to him unless you have to. Like, I've never once had like a joyous, fun conversation with him. It was always about work, and that was it.
I thought she said she only worked with him for one day. So how does she know all this stuff about him?
I can't really say anything about him other than everybody just about had a trivial issue with him at one point, but nobody, right. I don't think anybody could have ever guessed that he would take it to this extent.
Brianna, I must say, I'm just so impressed with how strong you are in this moment. It's a terrifying situation. I mean, have you learned, it's early, but have you learned something about yourself and about life, or is that just a ridiculous question?
No, not ridiculous at all. I would honestly say, even though it is still early, I know that I'm handling and I know it's going to set in more, but I know that I'm handling this a lot better than most people. So I would just say it's definitely taught me how strong I am.
Michael, good morning. This is a small city now facing tragedy the day before Thanksgiving, a busy shopping day. We've had people walking up to us here clearly shell-shocked.
Shell-shocked is a military term for people who suffer from the trauma of being in battle, which is now called PTSD. The news media keeps using these military terms, which is to subliminally message to your subconscious that we are in war, which we are.
Respond to District 402, 1521 Sam's Circle.
So this happened at 1521 Sam's Circle. That's 6'3", so that's 3 6s, or there's 2 4s, which is a 4x4, or you can look at it in many ways. We just had SBF, whose name is Sam. CZ Binance tweeted out, "We have come full circle." So, and that was in reference to SBF and FTX. Also, there's been a lot of animals walking around in circles that somebody in my Discord group pointed out. Sam is also a reference to America, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is sort of the personification of America, the United States. Uncle Sam wants you. That references back to the war, being recruited to the war. This happened on Battlefield Boulevard, BB. In the last Decode I did, the Club Q shooting, they mentioned that this turned our safe space into a battle zone or a combat zone, and the man who took down the shooter, he was saying how they shouldn't have to face combat. There's been references in that event and this event to battle, combat.
At the Walmart for a gunshot wound.
Overnight, a mass shooting at this Chesapeake, Virginia Walmart.
This is Super Walmart Greenbrier. We heard several shots inside probably 20 minutes ago.
6 people plus the shooter killed after witnesses say a store manager went into a break room and opened fire just as employees were gathering for their shift.
At the Walmart, 16-year-old male is conscious, is breathing, causes a gunshot wound.
I thought they said the shooter only targeted managers, so why would a 15-year-old get shot? He's not even old enough to work there.
I've heard now there is serious bleeding, not responding normally. We have police en route and on scene.
Several victims have been rushed to local hospitals as a rescue and recovery mission began.
And we did basically like a tactical entrance and movement in the...
Here, you got 65 and 65, which is 11-11. It's another 22.
Entrance and movement in the building. We located multiple fatalities and multiple injured persons.
Officials saying because the store is so large, many people may have been hiding, prompting fear that victims may not have been immediately located.
It's sad, you know, we're a couple days before the Thanksgiving holiday. I mean, anytime it's a sad, I mean, just a bad time all around, you know, it's just for everybody involved, you know, especially the victims. Like this.
Chain link fence for your IXXI diamond pattern.
Walmart releasing a statement saying, "We are shocked at this tragic event at our Chesapeake, Virginia store."
Now, store is also Taurus.
Local, state, and federal law enforcement are all on scene here. So far, investigators have not released much about the suspect or any possible motive, but we're expecting to hear more from police and city leaders.
Again, no motive, but they did find a manifesto, so...
We're learning from a police source that a manifesto has been found from the alleged shooter, the shooter. We are hearing that it does detail some of the reasons why he may have released the carnage that he did. Now, this law enforcement source, not authorized to speak publicly, say the manifesto was found on the shooter's phone. The shooter, a more than 10-year employee of Walmart, was upset about a recent change in employment status, according to the source. Now, according to Walmart, the shooter was an overnight team lead. They said nothing about a recent employment change. The source says the shooter described in the manifesto how he was being harassed by fellow employees about that employment change. This matches up with what some Walmart employees told me Tuesday night.
Now, one of you in my Discord group pointed out that 3 years ago, in 2019, there was another shooting at another Walmart in El Paso, Texas. And El Paso means the pass, and pass is a valley between hills. The valley is the middle pillar. In the Decode I did the other day about FTX and Alameda. Alameda means Alamo, and the Alamo was about Americans in Texas fighting for independence from Mexico, which is an allegory for Americans fighting for independence from the Matrix.
2 mass shootings happened within 13 hours of each other. Combined, 29 people were killed. 53 more wounded.
29 and 53 is 2 times 8, 88, the Lion's Gate.
Go, go, come on! This was the horrific scene at the Walmart here in El Paso, Texas. Frightened victims being treated in shopping carts.
All right, how many times have we seen this? I mean, this woman could walk. Like, that's nothing. That's a mosquito bite. I mean, what is she being dragged out, pant leg rolled up, like she's dying or something and can't walk? It's ridiculous.
In shopping carts. Moments earlier, scenes of sheer panic as terrified shoppers take cover and run for their lives.
It's busting guns.
Is this what terrified looks like?
In Walmart right now. AK. Somebody's got shot.
Frightened families, their hands in the air, dashing past armed police.
Okay, so there are shots heard behind them, and these people are walking calmly through the store, single file, arms raised, and filming it too? If there were shots fired in a mall, all hell would break loose and no one would think to take out a phone to film it.
Hands up, hands up!
Why is the store closed? These people are inside the store filming, and they had time to pull this down to close the store. You need keys to do that, so the store manager had to do that. Defies logic and time.
First call coming in at 10:39 Saturday.
A lot of these stores are closed, and in a lot of times you see these events, these stores are closed. These drapes over top of the little stalls in the middle of the mall, what this suggests to me is the mall itself is closed, and yet this is at 10:39 a.m. So what do you think that means?
Saturday morning.
Hooters, shooters, hoo-hoo, the owl of Taurus.
Mama, let's go, run, mija, run.
And of course, everybody's got their phones going, but they give this kind of foggy photo footage.
Let's go, run, mija, run.
Adria Gonzalez was shopping with her mother when she heard the gun go off.
This senior citizen.
Nothing says I'm a Freemason like a woman pointing to her one eye in an orange t-shirt and hat standing in front of a brick wall. Her hat says Columbia. Columbia is a reference to the doves. A columbine is a flower that looks like 5 doves. Dove references Christ.
Lady that I tried to help and I couldn't, and I just told her to move faster and she couldn't move faster, so I left her there and I needed to get out.
About 20 minutes after that first shot was fired, police apprehending the suspect just a few blocks from the scene. Authorities are now hunting for clues for a motive behind the bloodshed.
Again, no motive. Then they find a manifesto.
Right now we have a manifesto from this individual that indicates to some degree it has a nexus to potential hate crime.
Law enforcement telling ABC News the shooter is from Allen, Texas, 600 miles away from El Paso, nearly a 10-hour drive. The mall here in El Paso is just 5 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. We also spoke to Private First Class Glendon Oakley, who is being hailed a hero this morning. The off-duty soldier was shopping in a sporting goods store when a child, just 5 or 6, suddenly ran up to him.
Just came in and just said that it was an active shooter. We didn't believe him.
So a child who's 5 or 6 years old runs up to this guy who's off duty. Was he wearing his soldier uniform? Runs up to him and says, "There's an active shooter." I don't think a child who's 5 or 6 years old is going to use the term active shooter. Nor is a child going to know to run up to a soldier to say that.
And when he heard the gunfire and saw the chaos, Oakley sprung into action.
Again, all these people walking calmly, single file, arms raised like they know exactly what to do. If I heard gunshots in a mall, I'd run to the nearest exit, and malls have plenty.
Grabbing as many of the children
So if this is footage from the actual event, where are the children?
who were running on their own as he could.
I would want somebody to protect my child if I was there, if you know him or not.
So where are the parents? Why are kids running around alone, and why is it okay for a strange man to grab their kids? Why doesn't he go after the shooter instead of the kids? So there are some similarities between these events, but I don't see that much linking the two together. The number of victims in one event is 46 and inverted to 64 in the other. The shooter had a manifesto in both, and it happened at a Walmart, but that's about it. I included the event from 2019 because it had some interesting markers for what makes a tragedy. As for the Virginia Walmart event, it does have some different codes and markers from the El Paso event, which suggests to me some progress in where we are in the story that's unfolding on the world stage. It seems we're at the stage of contractions. 88 Lionsgate has been prevalent this year. But the reference to JFK head wounds, being shot in the head on November 22nd, 1963, go home, Target, birthday, they're all prevalent codes in this event as well as the last couple of events that I've done. It's all about raising the Christos, it's all about Christ consciousness, it's all about opening your pineal gland and creating the new world. Okay, that's it for this decode. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.